Okay, so what do we have here today? We have this sort of tree, right? So this is so for a size 6 game, this is basically to some degree the decision tree that each player has to make. Uh, so the kind of thought process is that if you're gonna make farms, you want to make farms as soon as possible, so that uh, you can you know gain the benefit from them, right? If they're around for more turns, then you get more bonus actions, right? And kind of cumulatively. So here the idea is that look, first it's player one's turn, right? So player one could either choose to not make any farms, right, on the first turn, or can choose to make two, right? So if player one makes no farms, then that's kind of like a commitment to no farms, right? Because it would have been pointless to do something else and then make farms, I think. Um, right? Uh, I mean, there are like exceptions, of course, but I think this is a good kind of like simplification. Um, you know, uh, yeah. So that's the kind of first decision. You could either make two farms or no farms. And if you're going with two farms, that means that maybe next turn you want to make another two farms, right? Uh, yeah. So this is kind of like going down either the path of 0 farms or down the path of 2/4 farms, right? Uh, Now, in whichever decision player one makes uh, on player two's first turn, uh, player two basically gets to pick the exact kind of, in some sense, opening that they do, right? The exact amount of farms that they're going to play with. So either 0, 2, or 4. So let's see here. Yeah. So you make either 0, 2, or 4, right? Because you have 4 actions. You could do 0 or 2 or 4, right? And then afterwards, in the case that uh, player one made 2 farms, right? The first turn, then player one could choose to either make another 2 farms or just stick with 2, right? So that's what this kind of third decision is, right? But if player one made 0 farms the first turn, um, probably it's better to kind of commit to that and commit to the attack. Though I guess you could always branch, but yeah, I think we'll kind of stick with this idea in this uh, decision tree right here. So over here, what we have um, is, kind of like, of course, there's 9 different combinations, right? But for each player, there's 3 choices, and what choices they make kind of dictate how many spare actions they have, actions that aren't um, kind of geared towards building farms. Uh, so this is roughly kind of how well off you are at any point in time. Now I say roughly because building farms actually takes up space. So you have to note that you kind of have some kind of tactical disadvantage typically if you build 4 farms. Like you still have a bit more of a disadvantage if you have 4 farms rather than having uh, 0, compared to 0 2. Um, particularly because your nobility will only have like won't have very much range typically. Unless you use rows or something like that. But yeah, so look, if we make 0 farms, then then that means all our actions get put towards something else, right? So on turn one, player one gets 2 actions, then 4 actions, so 6 actions have been put towards maybe attacking red. 10, 14, 18. Then we have from if you spent your first turn building 2 farms, right? You didn't put any actions into that, into attacking red. Then you could put in 5 actions, then 10. Because it goes up by 5 because with 2 farms, you get a bonus action. And then if you have 4 farms, it goes so 4 farms means that you place 2 farms first on the first turn. On the second turn, you place 2 more farms, and you in general get 5 actions, right, per turn. So you place those 2 plus. So that means that what does that mean? You had 5 actions in the second turn, but you spent 2 of them placing farms, so you only get 3 to attack red, and then 6 per turn. So by the time you're kind of at turn 4, the advantage, most of the advantage, aside from, like I said, the kind of space one, the fact that your initial nobility isn't just surrounded by a lot of farms. Most advantages are kind of negated by turn 4. All right, so if you want to play either one of these openings, it's probably going to be like some kind of either aggressive attack or I mean, I have played games, right, where you go for an aggressive attack and then it kind of slows down and then you build farms. So of course that's an option, but yeah. So let's look at what player 2 does. So player 2 is a bit more simple, right? Because you make all your decisions in the first turn. So if you yeah, so right here we could say that if you made no farms, you have 4 actions towards attacking blue, then 8, then 12, and so on. And there's some like key numbers here, right? So in a size 6 board, which we're talking about, of course, if one of the players is kind of completely exposed, then it takes 7 actions to freeze them, right? So this is kind of a critical point right here. If they're just surrounded by something, it actually takes 8 actions, to kind of come in with an army and freeze, the other player's initial nobility. And then, yeah, so those are the kind of 2 key points, but especially 8. Especially 8, because 7, you typically don't get a chance to attack with, to finish off a player with just 7 actions. Yeah. Okay. But yes, so as you can see here, first turn you spent 2 actions of your 4, so you're only left with 2, and then from then on, you have 5, and then here you spend all 4 actions, but from then on you have 6. By the time you're at turn 3, all 3 options are tied, which means that after turn 3, it's more favorable. It's more favorable to have have done 4 farms, with kind of that exception of maybe you're surrounded by a lot of farms, so that's not that great. So first thing we're gonna do is look at this attack right here, or like the potential of this attack, right? Like if player 2 goes 0 farms, right? In kind of each scenario, how does this affect player 1, knowing that they have to defend against this number 8 right here, right? Because the idea is that whatever you have around yourself, right, or maybe even front here a little bit. Okay, the point is that we are afraid of 1, 2, 3, 4, something like that. Yeah. I gotta say that red doesn't necessarily have to go with 5 towns like this. They could also do something like this is an option, right? So in the case that blue builds something here, right? Uh, then that for action attack, right, doesn't really work, right? Because 1, and then you can't build there. But sorry, 1, 2, and then you can't build there. But if instead you have something like this, then even if there's something here, as long as it's not a wall, blue could go 1. Sorry, red could go 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Yeah, so maybe we'll consider both options. We'll kind of talk about both options. Yeah, and we have to look at blue having opening either 2 farms here, or opening with, I guess, 2 towns maybe. Yeah, there's also other ideas, right, for aggressive openings, because generally you're building barracks anyways. So one thing that you can do is, instead of all towns, you could go all barracks like this. This is pretty interesting. Because 1, 2, 3, 4. So you could build 1, 2, 3, 4. No, wait, does that work? Build 2, 3, 4. Yeah, it basically has to be that. It has to be a build and then a walk. You're probably leaving a space here for in order to build a town eventually, right? Or leaving a space somewhere, right? Because otherwise you can't really build nobility if you just surround yourself with barracks, right? And that's, unless you like win really quick, that's not good in the long term. Like, you do only have 5 range. I mean, there's ideas like this, like, right, you could also build a road forward. I think let's stick with the idea of towns. It's probably a bit more versatile, but we could always change our minds. Okay, so let's say I'm over here as blue, right? Let's say I chose to go with 0 farms. I basically have to, if red chose this opening, right? Then the only thing I really have to do to, defend this nobility is cover this tile right here, right? With some peace. Yeah. Now, so the idea is that I want to maximize the amount of actions I put forth towards somehow attacking red, right? So let's see here. So if I were to ignore red, what I would do is I would go 1, 2, and I can, I guess, go something like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, and then 5, right? Um, sorry, 1, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Something like this, right? Uh, that would be like maximizing my like attack, right? Alternatively, something like 1, 2, uh, or 1, 2, 3, which is probably better in some ways. So maybe a good attack. Uh, let's see what we could, what could we do? Uh, so we could go 1, and then we want to somehow cover this tile, I think. So like 2, uh, maybe 3, 4 is an idea, right? Uh, so now I think so the issue, the kind of thing that we want to be careful of is giving red this, right? Because now what happens is that red goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that's bad, right? So we have to be careful about placing this and or where we place it. In general, also actually, we should probably cover this tile, right? Because otherwise, red could go 1, 2, 3. They could still do that. So should blue open like this instead? And then go 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, first of all, don't want to do that anyways, right? Because of 1, 2, 3, and then 4, right? Like I mean, nobility, army, move, move, right? But regardless, we want this defense. Actually, I'm not sure if this defense is how good it is. Okay, so um, let's say we put a bunch of things here. Could red still do something? It kind of feels like yes, because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, and then freeze. So that's a little scary. It almost seems like the best bet is actually to surround yourself. So you're over here, and you could go 1, 2, 3. And then if you really wanted to, right? Oh, sorry. I guess we have to do this, right? 4. Uh, so the question is like, how much actions does blue waste? So in some sense, I'm not sure if there's usually much point in doing. This is safe, right? Safe from this, yeah. Uh, Yeah. So how much actions did blue waste? Kind of defending themselves. Uh, out of these four, another weird approach, actually, something like this. So something like 1, 2. I mean, if you're gonna do that, why not just do 1? I think that's safe, right? I mean, there's no point in the nobility there, is there? You'd rather have the range? I think you'd rather have the range. Uh, yeah, so you could go 1. So 1, 2, 3. Sorry, 1, 2, 3. Like only build one wall, and then 4. I guess further up ahead is better. Although taking the middle spot is idea, right? So I think red can't. But yeah, right here. Uh, so I think red can't do anything there, right? Because you go. Like can't attack here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, and then 4. Can't get there. Yeah. Wait, that's 5, right? Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, so that's an idea. Of course, now you permanently have a wall in front of you, but I mean, yeah, I don't know. You did place this forward, right? So you're kind of forcing red to respond somehow. So this is really just one unproductive action from blue, right? And that's spending that half action over here, right? Otherwise, this is like a full on attack. It is kind of like a weaker attack in some sense, right? Because it could just be blocked by placing anything over here. Uh, yeah, but there are other options. So, for example, I was thinking this, and so this would be closer. And you place this on that side. I think that's safe, right? Because no, it isn't. Because you could go right here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, okay. Um, yeah, so that's not good. Uh, wait, but I think that that whole idea of this being a weaker attack doesn't really apply if you already have that there, right? It's just like if you place something here, that means that you can't place the army there. You're still threatening, like even if you place something here, right? You could still do 1 army 3, 4, right? So this is still like a decent attack. Um, yeah. So what's the idea? The idea is that if you play this as if you play this right here, at the very least, this 10 turns into a 9. You see that? And you could sense that, right? That blue is kind of like one action ahead of what red would be over here. Uh, so that's interesting because you have this 8 right here. This 10 turns into a 9. Which is I think, I guess, is that good for red, right? Because if they keep playing, right, then it's like blue's only ahead by 1 action, but then after that, red's ahead by 3. But I don't know because they could both start slowing each other down. So that's interesting. But uh, we'll leave we'll leave that there. This whole idea of like, no, what are we leaving? We're leaving this exact opening. So now let's try. So yeah, so there's this idea right here, but I think the response is exactly the same from blue, or like a valid response, like this 1 2, um, which I think is about as good as you're gonna get. Like it is kind of concerning because you only have you have 5 range instead of 6. Um, but yeah, I don't know. So yeah, you could do something like this, and then uh, so that's 1 2 3 4. So ignoring that, right, and just threatening your own. So that's an idea. That's if you want to keep going. So like, uh, again, there's this idea that we like change that to like a 9. Yeah. Okay. So we have uh, also this idea of going full barracks uh, against against this 2 towns. So that is hmm. So one thing about this is that, okay, so there's a couple things to consider here. One is that like it might be weaker in some sense for red to do this because as long as there's a wall. Wait, hold on. 4 goes over here. As long as there's a wall somewhere over here, like you're safe, right? Uh, but the downside of that for blue is that it's hard to put in actions that I mean I think it's okay, hold on. I think something like this. 1 2 3 4. So why don't we do the previous opening? Because I just think that uh really, what are we threatening here? Uh we're threatening 1 2 3 4. Uh and also like there's this idea that we could just wall in and then we want as much range as possible. And also we kind of have an advantage on kind of like upgrading to more farms against something like this. Uh yeah, so walls just shut down armies pretty well. Okay, I guess let's try our other idea, but I don't think it'll be that good. So that's the idea. I think like that just gets frozen, doesn't it? Uh frozen, like, no, I don't know if it does. That might be strong as well, actually. Uh but either way, I think it wastes 1 action and you go down to, and you go down, this kind of goes down to 9 right here, right? If this is a threatening 8, which it should be. So this goes down to 9. But like obviously, like I said before, this is going to go down as well, you know, to defend against to defend against this 9. Okay, so what if blue starts? What if player 1 starts with 2 farms? then we have something like, okay, then the attack over here, that uh, blue is trying to do, it kind of depends on whether or not we build. It depends on whether or not we build, whether we build these or farms, 2 farms, and because so really all we need to do is fill in this tile, right? I believe. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Uh, so something like so here's a thing, right? Like this for like that is productive, right? Uh, because like we had basically this is the start of the attack anyways, right? This is what we would have done anyways, because we would have gone like this and then gone over there. um yeah. uh and then we get we still have this 9 over here. We keep this 9. But in the case of this, okay, by the way, this works, right? Like 1 2 3 4 5 2 3 4. I mean, this gets destroyed, but like, at least you're safe, right? um Yeah, so with something like this, I think this is it's just, in some sense, it's a wasted action, right? To place something here. So what happens is that this 10 turns into a 9, right? So it's almost like you might as well do the 2 farms, uh, except it's just like less flexible, right? Uh, that's the kind of situation we have. But this case, I think, is more scary, right? Because it's not enough to fill this tile. Filling this tile with something doesn't do anything, right? Because it goes barracks, army, hop, move. Uh, so something like, so if we were to do something like of this nature, right? That's pretty dire, isn't it? Right there. Um, do we have to wall or something? Sounds like we might even favor going to the side. With that, and then something like this. Bam, 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 bam. Can't happen, right? Yeah. So this saves you. Uh, but yeah, it seems like you have to go to the. So that seems a little bit unfavorable compared to, which is interesting, right? Because it generally usually feels like 4 farms is the way to go. So what's the response over here? And I mean, in some ways, that makes what is it? This feel really unproductive, right? Does that feel really unproductive? Yeah. Because normally, you'd have these two. Oops. You'd have these two, this one, that one. Oh, you have a fifth action. True. Forgot about that. You have a fifth action. Forgot. Oh, you have a fifth action in both cases. Was I using that before? Okay, I think that doesn't change anything over here though, right? Because you still 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is still right. Sorry, you can't do that. You have to go here. 1, 2, 3. Sorry, 4. 5. You can't do that. Instead, you have to put something over here. Maybe like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right. So that kind of drops this 10 down to a 9. Whereas if you were over here, you in theory could go like that, I guess, or maybe like this. Seems scary. Maybe like this. Yeah, like this. I guess is fine. Technically going forward, is that safe? Surely that's safe. Yeah, must be. Okay. Safe enough at least. I mean, we could, the question is, does this get frozen? And it's a good question. We won't go too deep into that, I think. Just, for the sake of keeping this topic manageable. Right. So what happens in this case, though? In this case, we could go. What could we do as blue? If we didn't care about. Okay, if we didn't want more fines. I mean, I'm getting crazy ideas. Like 1, 2. 3. No, that's 1, 2. Yeah, no, you don't want to leave yourself exposed. That doesn't work. Oh, like that. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's kind of fun. Maybe like that. Is that deadly? For blue, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No. 4 even. Yeah, that doesn't do anything. Yeah, so that's kind of fun. How productive is that? That is pretty much fully productive, I think. Yeah, it just could be easily stopped. That's the downside. But that's a cool response. That's a fully productive response from that. Yeah, that's pretty good. This placement's actually really good. Because if it was here, then you could place something over here. Well, I guess you could place over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you have to go 1, 2, 3, 4. But that's, I think, pretty easily remedied. That's a cool response from Blue. It's interesting. You're also leaving yourself space uh, over here. So that's fully productive there. Uh, why is this surrounded? It was supposed to be not surrounded. Oh, sorry. Right. Because we built more. Okay. What about a full farm response to this? Like a 4 farm. Uh, so 1, 2, and then we get 4 more actions. 1, 2. Okay, if we go with this approach, like 3, 4, does that defend? I don't know. 2, 3. Yeah, I think it does. I mean, because if we fill these 2 spots, that defends, right? So that's good. I mean, that's like, it's not good that you could potentially give this to red, but I think we're safe over here. Yeah, which is a fully productive response. Uh, right, but the other one wasn't. Like, by the other one, I mean, actually, I don't know. Was the response fully productive against these 2? Uh, so possibly that this is a little bit better than this against that. That's what it feels like. Or maybe. Uh, yeah. Well, anyways, this is a good, like, kind of starting point to talk about. It's about to talk about this. Okay. So then there's this opening from red, which threaten is 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's basically all it threatens. So you could either fill this tile, or you could place a wall. Can't place it here because then otherwise you go barracks 2, 3, 4. But I think any of these 3 tiles work for a wall. And walls seem kind of less viable here because, in the other case we were talking about against 4 barracks, we had a lot of towns, right? So, our build range kind of makes our use of walls okay, but here it's a little bit, and it's tough to justify other moves too. Like, for example, um, let's say we do 2 farms, or some farms, um, and then we go 1, 2. Uh, I guess something like this doesn't hurt. 2, 3. Hmm. Then what? I mean, it doesn't look that great, right? Because we just have something of 1, 2, 3, 4, like this. Right, so it's true that that only uses up one action, but that's a bit scary. Did we just not place something there? That sounds more viable, right? Uh, kind of go off to the side. So if you go off to the side, first of all, can it be reached? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, but like that's okay, right? But I can't place the wall there. I have to place it here, which is fine, right? Yeah, as long as you can't go straight through. Yeah. So something like this is all right, and pretty interesting. Response to that. Because what's a red gonna do? Well, I suppose you could start to approach and kind of challenge things. Yeah, that's scary, but yeah, who knows here? Uh, but this seems to do what exactly? It seems to before the numbers. What were the numbers? Before the numbers over here, uh, was a 3, right? And I don't know if there's really any. I think maybe it's like a 1 in this case, right? Because you went sideways plus you built a wall, right? So I would call that a 1 in this case. Yeah, pretty much. Uh, so it seems like a decent opening here. But of course we could we have the choice over here, right? We could choose not to go for, because I mean red didn't go for any farms, which means that maybe we could get away with just having 2 farms. So there's ideas that are kind of like theoretically good. So something like 1, uh, like we just fill all this? Potentially, yeah. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5 is an idea. Then what does blue do? What does red do? So this is a fully efficient attack right here, right? Yeah, fully efficient attack. So what could red do? Um, I guess the real question is, can red destroy everything here? Well, no. At best, could only freeze this one. Like destroy this and then freeze, right? Like if you use player specific cards. Yeah. So this is pretty strong, I think. So that means that, what does that mean? So the feeling I get right now is that uh, is that if is that this opening, like the general 0 farms opening from player 2, to capitalize on this kind of 8 right here, is better against player 1 0 farms than player 1 2/4 farms. Yeah, and yeah, pretty much. Just because player 1 has like decent responses. Yeah, decent responses to kind of all the cases over here. I think it has something to do with like committing to a lot of range. That's the thing, is that if you commit to a lot of range as player 1, you are kind of obligated to send things far away, right? And be efficient about sending things far away. So then, if you play defensive near your own starting point, then it's inefficient. But if you're kind of already being inefficient and building, farms, then you don't have the range, so it's not inefficient to build close to yourself. So I really do want to continue this topic, but or wait, can we continue this topic? What if we? Yeah, I think let's talk about player 2 doing one of these two things, right? And whereas player 1, and then see how player 1 could be threatening in all of these cases. Yeah, right. Right, all of these cases. Maybe we could start with the like lowest numbers. So we could start with this right here. So let's say player 2 either did a 7 or a 6, right? Whereas player 1 went over here with 4 farms, and then we'll see how like what player 2 has to do to defend against this 9, right? Because this was the kind of like most because going down this route is the most aggressive route for player 2, right? If you choose to go 2 farms or 4 farms, then suddenly player 1 has kind of like the initiative, so to speak. So one thing I realized actually is that if you go over here, like if you don't do this attack with player 2, if you go with either 2 farms or 4 farms, then these 2 options, like player 1 hasn't diverged into these 2 options yet, right? So that means that if you can finish off player 2 with 10 actions, and you do it, right? Yeah. So really, what we're looking at is this point right here, because that's what you have to defend against when you're like over here or over here. Yeah. I think in some ways there's actually less variations, right? Because it's just like you're over here, you're red, you have to defend against. Like, you know what I mean? Like before red, when red was attacking, red could have a bunch of different configurations, right? Like, as in like could go 4 towns, 5 towns, or 4 barracks, basically, right? Whereas here, no matter what, blue is just going 2 farms. Okay, so I guess let's talk about the threat. The threat is that, like, let's say we just do this, right? What could blue do, and how many actions does it take? Okay, well, blue has 5 actions for sure, and wait, is this right? No, it's not right. Okay, my bad. Blue does diverge. Blue. So red makes this kind of a move. Then blue, of course, has to. Blue doesn't feel necessarily threatened by red. Yeah. Okay. So. Okay. Let's start with something like this. 3, 4. This is pretty standard, right? So what's the threat? Let's say over here. The threat over here is that blue has 5 actions and blue can go. What can blue do? Oh, like 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So with an action to spare like that. Also a thought. How much does this differ, right? Because this could be something like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 5 could be something like this. And it's the same situation really, because the next action you could place this, I think. But you also have the alternative of doing something of this sort. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right, and then next turn, just doing whatever. Right. Red has 5 actions against this, and can do what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is pretty good. What about here? Which is all kind of offensive actions, right? Here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These are all offensive actions, right? So these are all strong actions from red, right? They're all going forward. Okay, what about this? In this case, we go 1. We could go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Again, all strong actions from red, right? Yep. And then we could have. Okay, so maybe that's actually not a good idea. What about over here? Then we get 1. Okay, wait. What's the idea? The idea 1, 2, 3, 4. And then what could we do? I mean, it's not going to be all strong actions now, right? Not against this. So that seems better. If we do that, that's kind of questionable, though. So like 1. I mean, it's going to be a little bit weaker because 1, 2, 3. Okay, that's probably not good. 1, 2, 3. So this 3 isn't fully efficient. 4, 5. But otherwise, it's pretty efficient. So that seems like a good opening from blue, right? because it at least takes away a red action. But what about against something? What about against this? Then we go. Then surely that's fully efficient, right? Because we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's a little bit weird, but it's fully efficient. Right? One, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's actually an interesting base trade. No, is it? No, not really. Okay. So what's the response against this? Against all that? Well, I don't know. It kind of feels like we're not factoring in something, which is the fact that, if things get eliminated over here, then it's kind of backward. Then losing actions, right? Yeah. So in that sense, right, like if you're not making red lose actions, and so it almost feels like the attack isn't viable, kind of weirdly enough. But this one is all right, right? This one makes you lose an action, doesn't it? Yeah, because and you only put one forward. So in the case that red goes 2 farms, you could do this, and then hence uh, red loses an action, but you kind of also lose an action, right? Because 4 or 5, but at least it's equal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, at least it's equal. Yeah, because I guess if like one of your pieces gets destroyed, that's like losing an action right there. Hmm. Just a weird idea, just to talk about it. One, 1, 2, 3, 4. What does that do? Gives you 5 build range, lets you build something over here. I must feel like this is better replaced like that. Okay, but wait. Can red do anything about it in any case? Right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and can't get there. 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. Barracks, army can't do anything. Right. Wait. What about this? This case. That's more efficient, right? 1, 2, 3. No, sorry. 1, 2. Barracks, army, freeze. Okay, so you don't want to do it against this configuration, but it's safe against this. It's safe against that, and what does it do? Uh, that's something. One, What's the defense? Hold on. What is blue actually threatening? Basically to go anywhere, right? Like, no, it can only go here. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. Only needs 4 action, but it has 5. So if you ignore it, yeah, I mean that gets interesting. How to defend? How to defend while being as efficient as possible. I don't know about this. In theory, 1, 2. 3, 4. 3, 4. Okay, so if you build an ability here, it feels like a loss of efficiency. Oh, you have 6, don't you? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That seems dangerous. Maybe closer is better. Further forward. So that's a threat, but it's also a defense, right? It's also a fully efficient defense. The question is, does it hold up? Right, because the whole idea was that blue had an extra action to do the attack. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, it's a base trade scenario. And those are hard to analyze without going deep. So in some sense, this isn't viable as like a full defense from red. Okay, so I was thinking something like, oh wait, this wasn't built. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, well, because 5, 6 isn't fully efficient. Do you have to protect that? You really have to make blue lose 2 moves here, 2 actions. There's really a lot of attacking points if you're not going for. If blue is willing to base trade, there's really a lot of attacking points, right? Because you could go anywhere, I think, in this diamond. Because how far do you reach? 5? Yeah, like that. You could even potentially go here, right? If you boost your range. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Wait, what? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 5. Yeah. Yeah. So there's a huge diamond around here. Not even diamond. So like this shape right here. That potentially threatens you. Interesting. And this only happens if. Yeah, this only happens if red goes 4 farms. Right. So does that, so if red goes 4 farms, okay, blue goes 2 farms, red goes 4 farms, can blue actually always force a base trade of some kind? Basically, right? Crazy. Okay, again, can red like defend? Uh, can red in any way prevent this nobility from being frozen next turn? I mean, you could full wall, right? So 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh wait, full wall, makes you lose. So I don't want a full wall. Can mostly wall, but that's not good. Um, 1, um, one, 2, 3, and then just rebel everything. Does that work? 4, 5. Is this viable? 6. That's kind of ridiculous. What's the efficiency of that? Efficiency of that is, well, you're basically losing 3 actions, right? And you know the sad thing is that that doesn't even help. You know why? I don't think that helps, right? Because I think blue could just go like go here and then unfreeze, right? Because blue has a spare action. So 1, could be tricky about this. 1, 2, 3, and then 4, 5 doesn't work. Maybe this is a defense. What was that? Is right here too far? 1. Oh, you know what? Maybe right here. Well, it should be equivalent to here. But 1, 2, 3. Oh, yeah, right. You need but I mean, it's a pretty miserable position for red, especially if this gets frozen, right? Like all you have to do is go uh something like 1, 2, 3, 4. Like it's like kind of no-brainer moves that make it really difficult for red. Sorry, that was 1, 2, 3, 4. Or just wait, boosting your range. 1, 2, and then if you want from here, guess what? You just go like 3, 4, 5. Then what? Um, yeah. Then you're tied in actions. and you got this awesome position. So it seems that this response from blue forces a base trade. So let's say something like this. And I'm kind of going deeper into this position because it's like it's something kind of unexpected, right? That for some reason 4 farms from red is unsafe. Um, but yeah, we have like one. Uh, 2, 3. Okay, I mean if you ignore it, let's ignore it first. Actually, let's try ignoring it. So I think this was a valid spot to start. 1, or maybe let's start over here. 1, 2. Is that in range? Yeah. 3, 4. 5 seems pretty desperate. Something like that. Yeah, it's a strong opening by blue. Interesting. Yeah, stuff like this too. I was looking at this, but like we get into trapping ideas, right? Into the idea that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Blue can transition from like the idea of just destroying this to the idea of just trapping all this, right? So if red tries to approach, you just right. So 1, 2. 3, 4, 5. So 1, 2, 3. I mean, I'm not sure if I like it because of the. Well, maybe instead of that, we could wall like that. That seems strong, right? So this is no, you can't unfreeze that. Where are you gonna like that feels very desperate for red now, right? It's a good opening from blue. Okay. Uh, so 1, 2. What about defensive armies? Oh, you just get walled, don't you? Yeah, forgot about that. Uh, 1, 2, 3, 4. mean, that's just asking to be walled right there, isn't it? Yeah. Um, okay, what about something like this? Is that just bad? Because of the could that force a trade maybe? Let's see. One, two, three, four, five. Wow. Or do you want to go here? Do you want to waste an action there? I'm not sure. I don't think we do. One, two. I mean, 3, 4, 5 would be an interesting trade. One, one. I mean, something like this is good, right? Has to be. One. Okay, so how far are you from being destroyed? You're um 2 actions from freeze, 3 from destroyed. Um, one. Two, three, four. Two, one, two, three, four. Hmm. Okay, what about one? Uh, two, three. Mm, four. Like this is a concern. This is a bit of a concern. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 5. It's an idea. That could be winning though, because of 1, 2. No, one. One. I guess you have to build this. 2, 3. 4, 5, and then 6. Yeah, not quite winning. Yeah, so it's a decent idea from blue, I think. That was, sorry, from red. Like this was. But it feels a bit desperate. This is a really cool opening. Yeah, I like things that effectively fight to maybe 2, 3, 4, 5. Freezing that is a thought. Also, just being really threatening over here. 1, 2. Yeah, like that's a pain. 1, 2, 3, 4. You don't just want to trade though. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is interesting. That's what 1, 2. One, 2. Yeah, it's losing, I think, for blue. Losing trade. Yeah, I like the other variation. So where we go in here. Oh, we can't build that, can we? No, we can't. Maybe it was wrong. 2, 3. Do something like this. Move that here maybe. 2, 3, 4, 5, like that. That's a thought. Maybe even keep that there, right? And then from red has stuff over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is a trade. Oh, 6, which is a win. Okay, that would be a win. So that's not viable. Aha. So winning response from red? Well, not winning, right? Because you could always wall as blue. In fact, you could probably wall with a you could probably wall while also getting farms, right? So 1, 2, 3. 4, 5, 6. So 6 walls enough? So like 1, 2, 3. And then 4, 5, 6. How much is that? Get frozen there. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. You get frozen in both cases. Seems a little tougher than we thought. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Wait, we don't have to do that. We could do this. So 3 more walls. I could build this forward, right? Then that prevents them from hopping over, like that. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3 gets that, but still okay. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So, but this is safe, surely. Maybe this as well. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, not yet. Okay, maybe this is best. And then final wall goes where? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Definitely here. And then this could get destroyed. No, they could do worse. They could do 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Aha. So what does that mean? Okay. So right, we were over here. So I was thinking something like 1, 2, 3, 4. What was I thinking? What was the fifth? The fifth was, oh yeah, 5 to prevent this from being unfrozen. So it's kind of a hybrid between the two ideas that we were looking at. I don't know if I like that. Yeah, it's interesting. Because they could just do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then maybe 6 freeze that. Yeah, so let's try that, I guess. So that's neutral guard. One of these. Oh, I guess it's just faster to do this. Bam, bam. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, 5, 6. Yeah, that's losing for blue. Interesting. What if we play full walling? Could that work? What's our range? Our range is up to there. Maybe we have to boost it. And then really we have 8 walls, so that's not so bad. Like 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4 is key. And is that not good enough? Because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Seems like it's not good enough. So if you don't do that, then we don't do that. Right? We have 4 actions. I guess we have 4 walls, which isn't bad, really. So that limits the kind of. Okay, so something like this then? Right? So just by using this nobility, I'm not sure if we can, oh, what about this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Mm-hmm. Yeah, walls are hard and kind of desperate. Okay, what about that? So you go 1 town and then full defensive wall. Right? This can't reach. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 could get there and then you just freeze it. Yeah, that should be it, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, wait. You could get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. So with 6 actions, you could get something over here. But yeah. So okay. So blue's safe. Blue has a ton of range. Is down 1 action. But like you're really threatening here, right? I'm not even sure if this is a good idea. I almost say it isn't, because you just want to keep things open so that uh, red is as exposed as possible. Yeah, we'll go with that. Do we want to close off one side? I mean, we can, but I think this is fine. Just close off a side arbitrarily. Sure, let's do that then. We'll close this side. No, we'll close that side in case red starts building over here. Okay. And I feel like now red has to defend a bunch of spots from attacks. I mean, you could always make. There's like this interesting idea of making backups like this for actions. Probably want to give them towns or something. But anyways, yeah, what's red's plan of attack? Because you need a plan of attack, right? Feels like you just transition into mercenaries. Yeah. Interesting. Anyways, I guess I'll leave that there. It seems pretty close if you get a good wall from blue. It just yeah. I mean, of course you're down on action, but blue has good range. Yeah, it seems like a worthwhile trade. But I don't know though, right? Because maybe, you know what I didn't think of? What about just 3, 4, 5? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3 range. Okay, doesn't quite reach. Like blue's pretty desperate too in some ways, right? Because of well, just because of that mercenary threat, being able to just destroy you in one action if they're close enough. So right, so 4 farms. I think the response was road 4 towns was decent. But then if you see 2 farms, I was thinking like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is all right. Maybe in front. No, you can't do front. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So then you know they red can do 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe off to the side. It's better. So like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Uh, is all right. Yeah, and it turns into like an interesting skirmish, I think. One, two, three, four, 5. Seems decent. Yeah. Yeah, so there's thoughts there. So that seems like the standard response. And this kind of seems like the standard game, actually. It feels like pretty equal. Yeah, just by default. Okay, so I think one thing we didn't talk about yet is like this kind of threat, right here, which is 0 farms from player 1. So 0 farms from player 1 means so like this, right? And we could see how much of a threat that is. I think generally, if you look at it, right, it kind of ties with this, right? So it seems like, I mean, there's some extra range, but it seems like it wouldn't do much better, right? So let's say we see 4 farms, then what? I mean, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, yeah. Yeah, it shouldn't be much better. I mean, 1, 2. There's also this idea, right? Like the 5 away. Like that, right? Could you leave it open? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Could you leave it open? I think maybe. I don't know if there's a point though. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, wait, 6, eh? So if you don't want to lose efficiency, you go forward. I don't know if that's the best thing though. Is that a defense? Well, considering blue only has 4 actions, like most things are a defense. So at this point, it just feels worse, right? It's just a worse version of. It's just a worse version of, you know, having the road and 5 range type of thing with the two farms. What if you didn't place the? What if you just did this, right? Wait, hold on. No, you need to do something. Oh, did I forget a move there? I think I forgot an action. No, I think I threatened. Okay, let's do this. Then what happens? Okay, then surely red's forced to be inefficient here. Yeah, I kind of like this more actually. 1, 2. 3, 4, 5. Yeah, it's pretty inefficient. How many actions does blue need to actually take this out? It would be 1, 2, 3, right? So if this could get unfrozen in 1 action, then that's threatening. Wait, so should red just not open this way? I don't think it matters, right? Yeah, because this could build for in in the place of this. Yeah. So 1, 2, 3, 4. How efficient is that? Not terribly. 5, 6. Hmm. Okay, I mean it's a strong push. Like it would have to be, right? So like if we do that as an example, right? How much momentum does red lose? Realistically, 1, that's a loss of momentum. 2 is fine. 3, 4. So 1 is a loss. 2's okay. 3, 4 are both bad. But 5, 6 is technically in the right direction. We could also go 5 and then 6. But we'll go with that. So 5, 6. So makes you lose 3 from here. Um, so this it turns this into a 3, right? Um, for the sake of defense. Wait, is this still winning though? Because 1, 2, 3, 4. It's not winning now. I mean, that got destroyed, right? By getting destroyed and by just occupying that area. Okay. What about 1, 2, 3, 4? That's good. Yeah, so that's nice because it gets the action count down to 5. But I think that loses actually because 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Um, mhm. Sucks because it's an interesting idea. Uh, oh, but I guess you could go over here, right? So 5 could be like, but then 5 could be something like this now. So we could go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, you have to go for the save, but the save is everything, right? If you go for the save, then that's it. So that's fundamentally unviable, which is okay, right? That's kind of what you'd expect. So what did we have? We had that over here, right? Yeah, true. I mean that's the whole point of the push, right? Is yeah. 1, 2. 3. Sorry. 1, 2. Oh yeah. No, you can't go 1 because you need this. Right. Forgot about that. Okay. 1, 1, 2, 3, and 4. This is interesting, right? Because this is a serious. But I could just get frozen. Um. It's kind of weird and wacky. Could go with that. Generally don't know about this stuff. One, 2. 3, 4. Doesn't do much, does it? 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, it's okay actually. Yeah, this seems kind of fun. Anyways, you get the idea. It's that would be like the move, right? But in general, it's still tough to win this one. There's funny ideas, right? Like trying to mooch off actions over here. But yeah. Okay. I think we'll leave it there for now. But yeah, I also wanted to express like wacky ideas, like opening with barracks, like that, as blue. It's kind of an interesting mix-up. Okay, yeah. Yeah, so hope you enjoyed this video. I know it was kind of all over the place. Yeah, mostly just kind of trying to explore this tree and this table.